Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Hello. Welcome. It's Tuesday, and here we are at Student of the Gun Radio. Wow, that was kind of like a Darth Vader right there. Bam! Can you hear me okay? You hear me all right?
Yeah.
Because turn up my my headphones a little bit. I can't hardly hear myself. Should I be able to hear myself? Yeah, there we go. All right, that's the rich tones of my voice coming through the pop filter on the black carbon steel microphone. And welcome to Tuesday's edition of Student of the Gun Radio, wherever you happen to be on planet Earth. Go ahead and sign in. Check in with yourself. Say, self, where am I? And, wow. We just came off a busy weekend. As many of you know, Zach, the shipping ogre, and I, we drove over to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and saw our friends at ACLIS. We spent the afternoon with them, helped them, clean up, and there's a lot of cleaning up to do. They've been working pretty much nonstop since the water went down, and everybody in the Baton Rouge area has been working essentially nonstop since the water went down. As you drive down residential neighborhoods or blocks, basically every house has a giant pile of garbage in front of it, a huge pile. Because think about it like this. Look at your house. Start at the floor and go up a foot, 2 feet, 30 inches, 3 feet, sometimes, in some cases, 4 feet. But just imagine, look at the floor and go up 3 feet. Imagine that you drew a line across your house. Everything below the 3-foot mark is ruined, including the drywall, including any furniture you had. And you're like, well, how come it's ruined? It's just wet. And people, what's funny, Jared? People think, who've never experienced this kind of flooding or whatever, they think it's like you just like got it wet with a hose, like with the water that's coming out of your tap, and you just dry it out. No.
It's not so much.
No, the flood water, it's brackish, it's full of bacteria and algae and all kinds of just funky, horrible nastiness, and it gets in there. And some things can be saved, but your carpet padding and your carpet and like I said, the drywall and press board and paneling and anything like that, it's hacked, it's ruined, it's destroyed. Oh, so they're rebuilding. And then we're talking about furniture and houses, but cars, there were cars there are literally thousands of vehicles that were submerged.
Yeah. Hopefully their auto insurance covers flooding. Yeah,
and think, well, can you repair it? Well, yeah, you can repair it. You just have to completely rebuild the engine, and then you have to go inside and strip out the entire, all of the upholstery and the seats and the cushions.
All the important stuff.
And the electronics and the wiring. And you have a frame and tires and stuff like that and the body, and you just, basically it's like building a new car. I think it'd probably be cheaper to buy a new car.
Well, not really.
Well, I don't know. Like if you have a car that was 5 years old and it was submerged, I'm going to go ahead and say that the insurance company's going to come in and say, yeah, it'd be cheaper just to buy a new car. Yeah. So that's what's going on over there, and I hope that you guys are. If you feel like it, we don't want you to do anything that would make you uncomfortable. I don't ever want to be accused of manipulating my audience, Jared. I don't want them to feel like I'm manipulating them. So if you would like to help, please do. But if you don't want to, don't feel like I'm twisting your arm. I don't want that. I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want people to feel like I'm manipulating them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to help ACLIS Defense, I got messages from a lot of you asking what the website is or what the name of the place was, it's AKLYS, AKLYS, defense.com. Not Atlas.
Not Atlas.
AKLYS.
Well, we wrote it on the board. Why didn't you guys watch the video that we did? Why didn't you watch the live video that we did? Well, it's not live anymore. No, why don't you go to either our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel and watch it there? Why don't you do that? Let me guess, you're all of excuses. There you go. No reason. The answer is, sir, no reason, sir. All right, moving on. Don't forget about being ready and prepared and all that. We talked about bug-out bags, and we talked about preparedness, and we talked about all that stuff. And if you guys go to fontanasports.com/SOTG, if you do that, go to Fontana Sports, it's F, Fontana, /SOTG, and what you're going to get is 10% off anything you buy website-wide, site-wide for, well, it says 60 days on my show notes, but 60 days started a week ago, so whatever. So figure till October, right, Jared? Till like the end of September, beginning of October, kind of a deal. You know what Jared's doing right now? He's looking at his Apple Watch.
I was replying to my mother.
He was looking at his freaking Apple Watch. I've never seen you lift your wrist up and look at it so many. I'm sitting over here. I'm like, why does he keep checking the time every 15 seconds?
Because it vibrates, and it's like when I get a notification, it vibrates, and I can just check
You're
it.
going to have to turn that off.
Yeah.
You are. All right. So, jeez, kids. Century Arms, the sweetest melon arms maker in the U.S. of A. Pick up the C39 V2 or the TP9 SF. Or the TP9 V2 or whatever. If you guys can find a TP9 SA, I'm thinking you should pick it up. But like I said, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. As a matter of fact, if you want to wait until the middle of November to buy your rifle or pistol, I think that'd be a fantastic idea, and I think that's what you should do. Just wait. Just wait. But for the rest of you, you might want to go ahead and check it out now. Duracoat, why? Because life is too short to have an ugly gun. That's just the way it is. If you didn't go over to either the Student of the Gun Instagram or the Student of the Gun Facebook page and see the new pictures that we put up of Jared's rifle in the super cool World War II olive drab green and tactical black, well, you can do that right now. You're allowed. You're an American. If you've got an ugly gun and you don't want it to be ugly anymore, go to LauerWeaponry.com. LauerWeaponry.com. You can get yourself some Duracoat products right there. You're welcome. SWAT fuel. What about SWAT fuel? Well, if you use it, you may have a sharper mind and a stronger body. I actually used it this weekend. I did not want to work out on Sunday. I did not feel like it. But as you should know, when you don't feel like it, that's when you need to. That's when you need to make yourself do it. So I did, even though I didn't feel like it. And I'm better for it. Right, Jared? Jared says,
Yes, because...
Stop yawning over there, you freak.
Sorry, I need another cup of coffee.
Oh, man. SOTG 2015. What is that? That's a promo code you're going to use when you go to SWATfuelstore.com to save yourself some money. Frog Lube, it's green, it's minty fresh, it's bio-based, and it is extreme. And that's what they're selling right now. They're selling Frog Lube Extreme, and you can get it wherever your favorite Frog Lube products are sold. And last but certainly not leastly, on the hit parade of people who support Student of the Gun and make it so that we can have these black carbon steel microphones and that you can listen 4 times a week free for nothing. Do you appreciate listening 4 times a week free for nothing? It costs you nothing but your time. You do? You say you do appreciate that? Well, the only reason that happens is because of people like Crossbreed Holsters. Crossbreed Holsters, the makers of the Super Tuck Deluxe, which, yes, I am wearing right now with my TP9 SA in it. You can go to crossbreedholster.com to find out just how you can attach a gun to your body or anything else you want to attach it to. I don't care.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Well, thank you, Alex, for reminding people what they need to do. This next topic, I saw it floating around the social media this weekend, and it was just so vag-tastic that I had to drop it into the show notes for today.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
How many of you freaks out there listening to me have Under Armour products? How many? Most of you probably, or many of you, a good number of you do. I don't. Does that seem weird, Jared? But I thought about this when this subject came up, and I kind of did a quick mental inventory of what I own and what I have. And the answer is I don't have any Under Armour products.
I don't think I do either.
I don't. I have lots of products from other companies, but I don't have any from Under Armour. Now, if you are a hunter or a sportsman, or you know how I knew Under Armour was gone, that they jumped the shark? A couple of years ago, I was in an airport, and I saw it was like a little kid, like 7, 8, maybe 9 years old most, with an Under Armour backpack. I was like, yep, they've jumped the shark. Under Armour started out being, you know what Under Armour means? Do people even understand or realize where that terminology came from? It was the sweat-wicking T-shirts that you would wear under your soft body armor. Because if you wear a regular cotton T-shirt and you put like I can testify, brother! I'm about to testify to you. If you wear a standard generic cotton T-shirt and then you put your soft body armor on top of it, and then you put your polyester cop shirt over the top of that, and even if it's not hot, if it's like regular temperature, you end up smelling like sour milk. But if it's really hot, like summer hot, like Iraq hot, like Saudi Arabia hot, you get funky really fast. So, manufacturers started coming up with these sweat-wicking, cool, super cool shirts that you could wear underneath your armor. Well, it was so cool that when we got into this whole global war on terror nonsense, that they started selling them, and troops were buying them, and they were wearing them over in the desert, and so their stock went through the roof, and they expanded, and they started selling things to everybody, and they branched out into the hunting market. And they're like, man, hunters spend a lot of money on clothes and stuff. I bet you we could sell them some stuff. Well, here's a story from bowhunting.com. And the title is, Under Armour Fails to Support Sponsored Hunter. Well, I'm curious. A story from August 19th. In the age of social media, it's not uncommon for events to go from obscurity to the public spotlight within hours, such as the case of the hunting enthusiast Josh and Sarah Bomar. Several days ago, the couple posted a video to YouTube of Josh legally spearing a Canadian black bear, and it looks to me, if I had to put money on that, Jared, I would say that is a cold steel boar spear, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Who else makes badass spears like that besides Cold Steel? Not very many. But so he speared legally a Canadian black bear, which caused the anti-hunting public at large to rear its ugly head and lash out in the typical, your serial killers and your murderers and blah, blah, blah. Part of the backlash for the couple's videoed hunt was an online petition signed by a whopping 4,300 people to have Sarah dropped from her Under Armour sponsorship deal. Well, amidst the pressure from a misinformed and ignorant public, Under Armour caved and parted ways with Sarah as of today, and that would have been the 19th. Sarah was part of the clothing giant's Women of Will campaign, which focused specifically on female hunters. In fact, Under Armour has partnered with a variety of notable female hunters, including Tiffany Lakowski and Eva Shockey, in order to push their line of apparel to women. Well, of course they do. So what's the big hullabaloo? Well, the husband here, he stalked up on a black bear and he speared it, and then it died, and then they took pictures of it, and that's what you do. Apparently, it would have been better if he would have shot it with a bolt-action rifle or something. Here's the deal. This is you want to hear the comment that the strong, bold, fearless people at Under Armour. You want to hear their comment?
No, not really, because I'm reading a couple of them right now.
I'm going to go ahead and read it to the audience. This is according to Business Insider, and Under Armour has released the following statement. Quote, "The method used to harvest this animal was reckless, and we do not condone it. Under Armour is dedicated to the hunting community and supports hunting that is conducted in compliance with applicable federal, state, and local laws and hunting practices that ensure a responsible and safe harvest of the animal." So what part of this dude stalking up on this bear and killing it with this just super badass cold steel spear was unethical, violated state, federal, or local laws, or was not responsible or safe? You know, when you shoot animals with sticks, when you shoot them with strings and sticks, and they have you guys understand that they don't just drop right there. People are like, it bled to death. The bear ran away and bled to death.
That's what they do.
That's how it works. When you climb up into a tree and you shoot a sharpened stick at an animal, that's how it dies. You shoot the razor blade thing through it, and it cuts the arteries. And if you did a really good job, you get right in, on, or around the heart, and it bleeds to death. It runs away and lays down and expires. That's how that works.
So basically what Under Armour is saying is that they support the killing of animals from a distance, so the animal doesn't have any chance. Is what they're saying.
Well, all right, let's just say that
it takes more skill and effort to hunt the bear the way that this kid did.
There's this guy, the
guy,
husband.
Sorry.
Listen to you referring to people as kids. This husband, I hate to break your heart there, world, but man has been killing animals with spears since pretty much they figured out what a spear was. A long time ago. So I guess Under Armour, if he would have been up in a tree stand and waited for the bear to walk underneath him, and he would have drawn back, the string on a bow and shot a really sharp razor tip stick through the bear, and the bear would have wandered off and bled to death, then that would have been okay. That would be okay. But because he used a big giant stick with a sharp point and he threw it with his arm, then that's not okay. The fact of the matter is what we know, based upon the aftermath of this, is that this guy did not break any laws. Jared, what do you know about hunting? Do you think that that Josh Bomar was able to hunt this bear for free? No. To get a state-issued permission slip to hunt a wild animal, that's not free. These people, hunters, go out and spend a lot of money that goes into the public coffers. But we don't want to talk about that. The liberals and left-wing lunatics that just love just to tax you to death, they don't have a problem with taking your money, but they have a problem with how he did it. Jared, did somebody who looks a lot like me last Thursday, did someone who looks a lot like me make a comment about how the world, the United States and the world in general, is starving for leadership?
You've made that a couple times.
Instead of Under Armour bowing up and saying, look, these people didn't violate any laws. They're Americans. You know, some people like to pour loose powder down the barrel and shove a lead ball on top of it and then use a sharp rock to set it off. Some people like to do that. Some people like to, you know, chamber a round of 30-06 in a bolt-action rifle and do that. Some people like to climb up into trees and shoot at animals with sharp sticks. Rock on. If that's your bag, man, do it.
Well, Under Armour's based in Baltimore, Maryland anyway, so it's not like they can hunt bears there.
They're staffed by vagines.
Yeah.
So instead of bowing up and saying, hey, crybaby a-holes, tell me this, Jared. How many of these, the whopping 4,300 anti-hunters who signed this petition, how many of those people do you think are Under Armour customers? How many anti-hunters are Under Armour customers? I wouldn't think very many. This is another symptom of the disease of spineless weakness that we have in our nation. So I just thought you guys would appreciate that. Next time you're out shopping and you look at an Under Armour garment, before you decide to give them any of your money, you might want to know this and understand that they are not the friends. Do you think that Under Armour wouldn't turn on you? Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. How much money is Under Armour given to the Hillary campaign? You need to find that out. All right. Hey, I think it's time for another hashtag campaign, Jared. I think that that these Muslim missionaries that they've recovered from the assault of the previous hashtag campaign, and we might need to come up with a new one.
You think so?
Oh, I don't know.
What do you think it would be?
Oh, I don't know.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Das geht an die Oma des letzten Propheten Mohammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ich bin Allah so dankbar, ein Muslim sein zu dürfen. Das geht an die Oma, wir sind die Oma. Check das aus. Bismillah. Islam ist die Wahrheit. Wir folgen Mohammed.
For those of you who, well, apparently haven't been paying attention or don't know, there's a little group of Muslim missionaries over in Africa who calls themselves Boko Haram. And you're like, well, who are these people? I've never heard of them. Well, according to bbc.com/news/Africa, Nigeria's militant Islamic group, Boko Haram, which has caused havoc in Africa's most populous country through a wave of bombings, assassinations, and abductions, is fighting to overthrow the government and to create an Islamic State. All right. Because often when we see people that have, dark skin, like, Harlem Globetrotters type, we don't associate them with the religion of peace and brotherhood. But they're totally down with that. And they're looking to create an Islamic State where once Nigeria was. And where are they getting, Jared, where are they getting all these guns and rockets and stuff? Where do they get all this material support?
I don't know. Maybe from the $400 million?
Yeah, I mean, there are some states, some nation states in the world that do give money and material support and guns to terrorists, and kind of like Iran. So, well, now Boko Haram came on the scene a few years ago, and the brave and courageous women, the Democrat women in Congress, they got together, and one of the things that they were incensed by was the fact that Boko Haram was going into these villages and they were kidnapping young girls and then selling them as slaves because, well, when you are a death cult missionary like ISIS and Haram, that's what you do. You kidnap the infidel, anyone who's an unbeliever, and then you sell them as slaves. Yes, there's slavery in the world. And you know who's the number one sponsor of slavery on planet Earth? Well, it would be representatives from the super cool gee-whiz fun death cult known as Islam. Ooh, that doesn't fit with your worldview, does it? CNN's not going to tell me that. So what did the brave and fearless women the Democrat women who inhabit the House, what did they do? They came up with a hashtag campaign. Hashtag bring back our girls. And they all posed for pictures on social media. Because that's how you stop monsters with AKs and RPGs and, monsters that walk into villages and kill people and chop them up with machetes. And, that's how you stop them. You come up with a hashtag campaign. And so the next time the Boko Haram is checking their Facebook or they're checking their Twitter, they're like, hey, these women in America, they want us to stop kidnapping infidels and murdering them. Well, I mean, we wouldn't want our hashtag, our Twitter presence. Maybe they're afraid that Boko Haram's going to lose Twitter followers, and they're like, so, well, even after the brave and fearless attack against Boko Haram by the hashtag campaign, Bring Back Our Girls, even after that, apparently they've recovered. They've bounced back. And we got a story here dated August 21st, 2016. Boko Haram kills 10, abducts 13 near Chibok, say locals. And the source is dailymail.co.uk. Boko Haram Islamists have killed 10 people and abducted 13 others in a raid on a village near the northeast Nigerian town of Chibok, where the militants kidnapped over 200 schoolgirls in 2014. You remember, did that hashtag bring back our girls? Did they get the 200 sex slaves that Boko Haram had kidnapped? Did they get them back? I don't remember. Armed jihadists on motorcycles invaded Kubrivu at dawn on Saturday, firing on the residents as they were sleeping and looting and burning homes. Wow, these guys are they're taking a page out of the American playbook there. Maybe they should go to Milwaukee. Looting and burning homes before fleeing into the bush with 13 women and children seized from the village. The Boko Haram attackers rode on 4 motorcycles, 3 on each, and opened fire on the village as residents slept, said Luca Damina, a resident of the village. Then they fled after the attack. They burnt down the whole village after looting food supplies and livestock and taking away the women and children. There you go. That's those are the representatives of the religion of peace, love, and brotherhood. And well, when you are a death cult missionary, that's pretty much what you do. Isn't that correct, Jared? That's what they do.
Yes, that is exactly what you do if you are a Muslim missionary.
All right, it's Tuesday, and it's time for some quiet time, brought to you by SilencerShop.com.
As kids, we learned growing up, if you were going to hunt wabbit,
you had to be very, very quiet.
At SilencerShop.com, that's what we do. We make guns very quiet with state-of-the-art suppressor technology for every caliber you've got in your safe. From .22s up to the big boys. Minimal noise, less recoil, higher velocity, better accuracy. Do you honestly need another reason to get a silencer?
Oh, ask we Webbit.
Get the facts and get suppressed at SilencerShop.com. Making the world a quieter place.
Cricket. So that's the sound that happens in my house when I ask who broke the coffee cup in the kitchen, who spilled the milk in the refrigerator.
I was about to say, or who spilled the milk in the refrigerator.
Who spilled the milk in the refrigerator. Cricket. Let's talk about the rights of man. You're like, wow, rights of man, that's some serious thing. Yeah, it actually is. This weekend I spent some more time reading the political thought of the American Revolution, and you guys are saying to me, you're saying, Well, didn't you already read that? Yes, I did. And I read it again, and I'm reading it again. The Political Thought of the American Revolution by Clinton Rossiter is a book that you should own if you're a patriot and if you really give a rat's fanny about what's going on in the United States. It's a book that actually used to be used as a textbook in high school classes and in college classes, but it's out of print because there's way too much liberty going on in there. There's way too much freedom going on in there. The peasants might actually read that book and think, wow, things aren't right in America and we need to fix it. We can't have that. We can't have that at all. But I was reading the book, and in there, Clinton Rossiter does a fantastic job referencing the rights of man and where that idea came from. This isn't something that the founding fathers, Jefferson and Jay and Madison, they weren't all just sitting around and they said one day, they're like, hey, why don't we come up with this crazy concept called rights of man? And and they made it up on their own. They didn't make it up. They actually took the histories of the lessons of history that they had been taught and the writings and so forth. But what I want you guys to understand is this. Right now in the United States of America or the world or whatever, but everything has become a right. We love to throw that word around. Whether it's the media, whether it's the government, whether it's politicians, everything is a right. This is a right. That's a right. This is a human right. We love to throw that around. The problem with that is when everything is a right, when anything that you want or desire or seek to have, food is a human right, water is a human right. Clothing is a human right. Shelter is a human right. Apparently in the United States, a mobile phone is a human right. Internet is a human right. Anything I want, anything I desire, anything I think I should have, well, that becomes a right. It becomes a human right, and you can't deny me. Well, here's the thing. When everything is a right, nothing is a right. And we've, once again, congratulations, United States of America. You've bastardized the language, just like we constantly do. We bastardize the language so that people don't even understand. Do you know what an inalienable right is? An inalienable right is not only something that can't be taken away, but something that by nature you can't even surrender. Inalienable rights are you get those from the nature of man or from your creator. These are things that existed before cities and governments, before the New York Times and CNN came into being. And they are very, very few and far between. But what we've done in the United States of America, because we are fat and lazy and stupid, is we've decided that anything that we want, that's our right to have. Well, I want this, and I want that, and I want to be able to kill the unborn child inside of my body because it's going to inconvenience me. Oh, well, you have reproductive rights. Oh, good, cool. Thank you, because that's what I wanted. I want to be able to constantly vote for Democrat socialists. I want to put progressive socialists in office. And then when the progressive socialists that we put into office for years, decades, 40, 50 years, we let them be in charge of our cities and our states. And then when they destroy them, we look out at the rest of the country and say, hey, my city has been destroyed by progressive socialists, and I no longer have what I want. You have to give it to me because it's my right. No. When you go to your neighbors and you ask of your neighbors for their money and their property, that's not a right. No, you're being granted a privilege. Someone is taking your neighbor's money and transferring it to you. That is not your right. You do not have a right to your neighbor's money or his goods or his products or livestock or whatever. You don't have a right to that. But you get that because the government, some body, some state organization has decided that, well, rights really aren't rights. They're privileges. And we're going to give those to you. The problem, though, that we encounter is that when you look to the state, when you look to man as the provider of all your rights, those aren't really rights. Those are just goodies. Those are just privileges that they've decided to give you. And anything that they decide to give you, they can decide that you don't need anymore. Because it's not really a right. It's a privilege. And privileges can be taken away. When you look to some big brother organization, when you look to an agency, some state agency to provide you with everything it is that you want and desire, that's not a right, folks. You need to understand, you need to learn, you need to research, you need to educate yourself, because what do we know? We know that the education system in the United States is woefully inept, that it's no longer an education system, it's an indoctrination system. And it's up to you to educate your family and your children and yourself on what real, genuine rights are. The very few and far between rights of man. And we've talked about this previously, but it's important. Folks, this is important. You need to know. I'm going to leave you with a quote. A guy named John Jay, and you might remember John Jay. And John Jay was discussing the Constitution. And this is what Jay said about the Constitution. He said, vice, ignorance, and want of vigilance will be the only enemies able to destroy it. Think about that today in 2016 U.S. of A. Vice, ignorance, and want of vigilance. Meaning, Jared, does that sound to you like ignorance, distraction, and guilt?
Yes, it does, actually.
A want of vigilance, or being completely and totally distracted by ridiculous nonsense. Ignorance, undereducation, or a complete lack of education. And vice is as simple as this. Vice is, I'm so wrapped up in myself and what I want and what I desire and what I deserve and what I need and my own comforts that I can't be bothered with anything else. Over 200 years ago, John Jay looked out at this country and said, hey, we've got this really cool system, of this representative republic system that we put in place for you guys. And the only way that it will be destroyed is through vice, ignorance, and a want of vigilance. Kind of crazy, huh? I know. Amazing. All right, kids, that's it for Tuesday's episode of Student of the Gun Radio. Now, we will be back tomorrow, and you don't want to miss tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show, we're going to follow up. Remember last week we talked about how the German government looked out at the people and told them, hey, you're on your own. We can't protect you. You just have to protect yourselves. Too bad. Well, recently, Germany just told their people, stockpile food, just in case. We're going to dive into that tomorrow. And, well, of course, tomorrow is also Wednesday, so we'll have a SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk for you. Until then, remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.